Hey guys, back at it again, and we got another Oscar video. Got Alex again now, and I said Trevor would be on this time, and he is. How you guys doing? Are you ready to do the next Oscar year that we're doing?
I'm so excited to get started with this video. It's been a long time in the making.
Long time coming, but we're finally here.
Yeah,
And that's what matters.
We had a lot of technical difficulties. Alex was on previously. Trevor, what is your love for the Oscars? Why do you want to do this?
I mean, I've always been interested in award season. I've always tried to keep up with the nominees the best that I can. And I mean, just my love for movies in general. You brought this to me, and I knew I was down. So,
Alex, I don't know why your face is like that.
Thank you. Again, great to be here, making a video with Jamie. We've been getting this set up for the last hour and a half, and immediately make fun of me. It's awesome. I don't know why you're ugly as but
This is some real technical difficulties.
Hey guys, welcome back to my video. You look like absolute garbage.
Oh man, but yes, we're here to do the Oscars. We're doing the 2008 Oscars, so 2007 movies. Obviously we're doing the best pictures as the previous video was. We have them ranked. We're taking the three of ours and see how that ranking then looks. And then after that, we're going to say what we think should have won Best Picture, and then we're going to also give some options if we feel like should have been nominated at the very least. But yes, we have 5 movies, thankfully. I don't know why we're getting to the newer decades, because they're like freaking 8 to 10, but yeah, so we have 5 movies. We got No Country for Old Men, which won Best Picture. We have Michael Clayton, we have There Will Be Blood, Juno, and Atonement. So here in a minute, we'll be kicking off with our 5th rank one. We didn't do a number thing again like me and Ash did last time. I'm not really into number grading. I'm not really into grading in general.
He's still trying to figure out numbers. So
Yes. Still working on that
1 through 5 is as far as we've gotten.
Anyways, but yeah, I mean, I guess we can honestly get right into it unless y'all have anything you want to say before we start.
This is 2009 Oscars, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Anyways, yes, so 2008 Oscars, number 5, which these guys don't know the order at all. I do. I feel like number 5, though, I will say, is probably not that shocking, but I guess I'll see these guys' faces in a second if it's shocking to them. But number 5 was Juno.
That's surprising to me, but go ahead.
Is it actually?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm surprised.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of you probably already know about Juno. I think it's a pretty well known coming of age movie from our generation, but it surrounds the character of Juno, played by Ellen Page, not Elliot Page, about an unplanned pregnancy that she has with Michael Cera, and the decision she makes to kind of give the child up for adoption. So it was directed by Jason Reitman, and stars Michael Cera, Jennifer Garner, Jason Bateman's in it as well.
Yeah.
They're the couple.
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons, Allison Janney's in it as well. Jason Reitman, Saturday Night. This is his most recent one.
He did Up in the Air with George Clooney and Vera Farmiga. That's a really good movie. That's probably my favorite movie of his. He did Tully with Charlize Theron. Young Adult was good. He's on
Ghostbusters Afterlife. Hey.
Did he actually do Ghostbusters? No. I don't think he directed. He did the screenplay for Frozen Empire, but I don't know.
It says Ghostbusters Afterlife, directed
He
by.
directed that, but he didn't direct Frozen Empire.
Yeah, why don't you just calm down, Jamie?
I haven't seen either one of those movies, but yeah. Anyways, Yeah, I mean, this. So I didn't see this until years after it came out. This is four of these movies I've seen previously, so that was interesting compared to the last one we did. But uh, Juno, I seen a couple of years ago, but not when it first came out. So I feel like when people grew up during that era, it was like this and Superbad.
Yeah.
I love Superbad. I've seen that way around when it first came out. But I just seen this movie a bit later for whatever reason. Uh, I think this movie has a really good message, has a good blend of dramatic and comedy moments.
Mm.
I think Elliot Page is great in this movie. It's the best performance I've seen of hers. I haven't seen her in a lot of stuff, but what I've seen her in this Inception. I know there's a movie called Whip It that I've never watched, but I know she's been in Umbrella Academy. I haven't seen that either, but
Yeah, they're pretty good in that. It's a solid show on Netflix.
but yes, I really like the cast, really good cast. Like Alex mentioned earlier, J.K. Simmons, think is also in this. I kind of like how him and Allison Janney are like kind of laid back, but when Allison Janney needs to like
Mm-hmm.
step it up, she can go full ape shit. I do have a question at the end of this for you regarding what was it, ultrasound technician, but we'll wait for the end at that for that. But what you guys think of this? What are some of the positives and
I agree. I think J.K. Simmons and Allison Janney, this are awesome. They're like the perfect parents to someone like that has a teenage pregnancy, like Juno in this movie. I think I feel like the whole abortion topic in general being nominated for Best Picture was like a pretty polarizing subject at this time. I mean, it still is. It's always going to be. So I think it says a lot that about the state we were in the mid 2000s and how it's 20 years later and still like a hot topic. I think it doesn't really. The one thing I liked about Juno a lot is how much it does is very satirical in how it talks about abortion. Like Juno's classmate who was literally protesting outside, clearly a young kid, doesn't know anything about real world things. So just from what their parents hear and there, she's out there saying all babies want to get born. Like doesn't actually know like what it's like to give birth to a child or be pregnant or make that decision. Which I think it does a good job of like balancing a real life issue of teenage pregnancy, maybe not wanting to keep the child, but not exactly sure what direction to go with it, and also like making fun of those people that criticize women that make that decision. I enjoyed the movie a lot. That's why I'm kind of surprised it's last. But I mean, this crop of best pictures I thought were much better than the last one we did. I think you can touch more on this, Trevor. You probably have a similar thing, but I thought that the whole relationship between Jason Bateman and Ellen Page, Juno's character, were a little bit. It was very much romanticized. How did you feel about that?
I'll let him go, but that's more of my negative. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you want to touch upon some positives.
I mean, no, he definitely did a really good job. I think the cast and the chemistry amongst everybody is really good. I think that, like he said, the idea of abortion at the time was obviously a huge topic, and I mean, honestly, it's probably still going to be for years and years, and it's not going anywhere. But I mean, kind of for me personally, that's kind of where the positives kind of stop.
Is coming of age like? Do you like that genre or?
Yeah, I don't mind it. I just kind of feel like at least the way that it was done for this one, to me, it just kind of that doesn't seem like a movie that should have really been nominated.
Okay.
But that's just my opinion, obviously.
I'll say of the coming of age films over the years, this one is probably the best set up for that, just because some of the like stuff it tackles and just the way it's filmed. Like you're not gonna. I think Superbad is one of the best coming of age films ever, but you're not gonna. That's not gonna be nominated for Best Picture. It's just it doesn't really fit that criteria. The same thing like a timeless movie like Breakfast Club is not going to be nominated for Best Picture. This movie is filmed in a way and acted in a way that would set it's similar to not similar, but Lady Bird is kind of in that
Mm-hmm.
avenue. Did you guys like Lady Bird?
Yeah, I love Lady Bird, but I think it's like I mean, the topic
Yeah,
is
definitely.
completely less polarizing and like controversial than the.
But it's more set up for like a best picture than like some of those other coming of age.
Than necessarily like more of a comedy focused.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like this one is definitely like more of an unconventional pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is kind of before its time. Like a movie like this, I mean, if you look at many other years, you weren't seeing movies like this.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm kind of happy it was nominated, even though, I mean, we'll see how everybody ranking at the end once we get through it, but based on how it was ranked. But I do appreciate that it was, nominated because movies like this just weren't. I mean,
Yeah.
they really weren't. I mean, nowadays stuff like this happens a lot more. I mean, like I feel like a movie like Anora probably maybe doesn't get nominated.
That's
if it came out a couple years.
And that's the thing with Sean Baker's whole filmography is about sex work, and it's been like highly regarded and awarded in like many indie film awards. And like,
Yeah.
I think Juno during this time definitely could have been up there for Best Picture, like winning Best Picture, just depending on what it's up against. I think I think it was the right movie for the right year for being nominated for the best. I mean, we'll get into it later, but there's a couple movies that I think also should have been nominated for Best Picture. That being said, I'm surprised that it's the fourth or fifth slot. Like, I think in this class, there's three like shoe-in that we're going to get nominated.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what we think of the shoe-ins, but yes, what are the negatives?
I had one more positive thing. Well, just one thing I appreciate about this movie with the topic of abortion and teen abortion, teen pregnancy is a lot of people, the whole thing is that they're young and they're not mature enough to, carry that child and take care of that child. One thing that I think this movie does a great job of is showing someone that is older, like Jason Bateman, who clearly isn't ready to settle down and have a child. He still didn't like pursue his dreams, and showing that it doesn't necessarily matter about your age. It matters about, your willingness to sacrifice from bringing a child into the world in general. And I think, again, that's not a polarizing point of against, pro-life, pro-choice, that whole debate. I think that Jennifer Garner, her character is much more mature. It's like hard set, wants a child no matter what.
Yeah.
Whether her partner's ready, is going to be able to support her through that or not. She doesn't care about that. She just wants to have a child so badly to the point like that defines her entire life, which I think is an interesting dynamic and difference between the two situations.
I agree. I mean, once we'll get into it, I think they could have done it better. And I don't think the Bateman stuff ages very well, but we'll get
I mean,
into that.
surely not.
I do want to shout out the hamburger bun phone is awesome. It's an awesome
yeah,
prop.
that's pretty
I thought that
I did
was
like
super cool. Also, these guys won't understand, but shout out to if you're a fan of Vampire Diaries, because Candace King is in this movie. So just wanted to say that if you're a fan.
Not a Vampire Diaries.
Yeah, I didn't think so. But anyways, yes. So Jason Bateman stuff, his character. I just don't. I just think it could have been done so much better. I don't think they needed. They could have had a relationship without it. Almost like basically turning what seemed like he wanted
Cheating.
cheating. Yeah, which
Yeah.
I just like it just felt so weird and forced. It didn't feel like natural at all.
Mhm.
And I just that's a moment like I kind of forgot when I first watched this movie. I kind of forgot that I remembered it happening, but not to what extent. And it makes you uncomfortable. It feels forced. And I just wish they would have done. They could have had them be close and still not went that direction, and still had Jason Bateman eventually leaving. I mean, clearly he wasn't ready to be. His character wasn't ready to be a father. So, but how'd y'all feel about that?
I feel like it's very similar to Leon the Professional, like that whole dynamic. Obviously, that's much more extreme, I feel like, than in this situation. considering they're neighbors, and Natalie Portman's like much younger than Leon, who's like in his 40s or 50s, presumably in the movie. I do think it is definitely a little bit of a creepy dynamic, but I think it also again plays into the part that they're both very immature in their own ways. Even though Jason Bateman much older and Juno's much younger, she she doesn't see him at his character as like a romantic partner, but like the way that they continuously, flirt and are around each other constantly, and she misses him, and he's just a cool guy that she brags about to her mom, Allison Janney, about how he's just a cool guy and he just gets me. I think is an interesting choice for this movie, and goes along with what you're saying about it's very romanticized with them too. How did you feel the same way?
See, I kind of see whenever you bring up Leon the Professional, I would say that at least in that movie, my first viewing, I thought that the line kind of between like that mother or the father and daughter dynamic was definitely a little bit more solid than in this movie, where it's like it's blurred. Like, I forget the exact quote, but I feel like Jason Bateman, like he confronts her and he says are still like, is there a thing here or something like that? Like openly just asked her,
Yeah.
which I thought was really weird. And it is definitely like uncomfortable. And I do feel like if a movie like this with that, kind of dynamic between characters that are obviously aged so far apart comes out today, I feel like it would have catch a little bit more heat than.
What, did you see this movie before? Or is this your first?
No, this was my first viewing.
So were you pretty shocked when that moment happened? Or?
I mean, I wouldn't say shocked, but I definitely picked up on it immediately. And it's kind of crazy too, because they even say in the movie, like she's driving over an hour to go see him.
Yeah.
So it's just like the fact that she's going this far out of the way to, hang out with this guy that she obviously maybe not has romantic feelings for, but she's definitely,
In her defense, she's a high schooler, so like a lot of this stuff makes sense. I don't totally buy it from Bateman's character. It just seems like they're setting it up a little bit, but it just seems like it's such a shift that like it like punches you in the face almost.
Yeah.
The whole thing of that just doesn't age particularly well. And anytime they go to that, I'm like kind of done with the movie. I mean, I prefer the stuff with Juno and her stepmother. I like that stuff more. I like their relationship. I like the relationship she has with her dad. I like the relationship she has with her friend. I like every time they went to the Jason Bateman stuff. I like the Jennifer Garner stuff. But yeah, it must have been a tough role for Jason Bateman because like I don't. That's
Yeah.
But
but yeah, I don't know. I think very solid movie that kind of like gets way down a bit just because some of the some of that stuff that we were talking about.
Now, do you think it deserved it won for best screenplay? Do you think it deserved to win? I thought the screenplay was very well written.
Yeah.
I think the characters were very fleshed out for even with like limited lines that they had. Granted, looking at the other movies in this year, maybe not so much. It should have. I think it definitely should have got nominated, but I don't know if it necessarily should have won over some of these other movies.
Yeah. What do you have it on there? What was the other ones?
original screenplay, actress in a leading role, directing, and best picture. And it only won original screenplay.
Let me see what the other nominees are.
But honestly, another negative for me, I don't know if you guys would disagree, but I wasn't a huge fan of the dialogue. I don't know. Personally, at least in sometimes, especially early on in the movie, with the interaction between Elliot Page and Rainn Wilson in the store, I don't know. It seemed like...
See, I personally, I love that scene so much. Like, I just thought that was a hilarious scene.
Yeah, I guess I didn't really have a problem too much with the dialogue, to be honest, but I do have a question for you guys then once Alex finds that.
So yeah, I mean, the other, and again, this is original screenplay, but it's Juno, Lars and the Real Girl, Michael Clayton, which is also nominated for Best Picture, Ratatouille, and The Savages. So I can kind of see it winning over those.
Yeah.
It seems like adapted screenplay for this year was much more like highly contested because you have No Country for Old Men, Atonement, There Will Be Blood, and then Away from Her, and The Diving Bell and The Butterfly, which I'm not super familiar with what that is, but the other three are
That
all.
last one's iconic.
Yeah.
the other three huge hitters there. So I'm not super surprised.
Yeah, well, my first question actually was I always try to have questions just before we sign off on the movie, but uh, so I actually talked about this to somebody else recently, like what happened to Elliot Page after this, like not after this, but like she. I know the whole thing, and I'm not going to go too much into it as far as transitioning, but I'm sure that probably hurt Elliot Page somewhat in Hollywood, I would imagine. I know he's going to be in the new Christopher Nolan movie, so that's big. But do you think, if all like considering all that stuff, do you think he could have had a bigger run during this time, or do you? He's really good in this, I'll say.
I think it's I haven't seen him in many other movies, but I think that you get pigeonholed into the same kind of role. Like Michael Cera has gotten pigeonholed into that same role.
Yeah.
I think that she kind of fell victim to that same thing and has since kind of, you know, reprogrammed and redesigned herself, like re-identified herself more ways than one, like to the type of acting that you know they can do. And I think it's rare that, I mean, we see it sometimes we see certain actors play the same character over and over and over and over again, and like and being in the Odyssey and Christopher Nolan's new film, I'm not sure exactly what their role will be, but I mean, I've never seen them in a movie like that. Usually in a very like powerful, like confident woman role is usually who she is, and the quirky character of some sort.
It's a big step up.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I'm surprised because I mean, obviously she's immensely talented, but I've only seen him in this one and Inception.
Yeah. Kind of same.
But I mean, honestly, it's kind of surprising that he hasn't gotten more opportunities, especially like because now I feel like that's more accepted than it ever was. Like if this happened 20 years ago, 20 or 30 years ago, I can understand the kind of like culture.
We'll see with the new Nolan movie if that starts anything. I don't know how much of a role he has, but
Yeah.
my other quick question was so there's an ultrasound technician in this movie, and there's a confrontation between her and Allison Janney's character. Since y'all were both in the working at a hospital, do you think the ultrasound technician was out of bounds for what she said? Just curious. She said
When she says "thank God," I mean, yeah, 100%. When she asked like if they, you know, she mentions that she found a couple to adopt her kid, and the technician says "thank God," yeah, like that.
Yeah.
That's not something you can like. I mean,
Well,
sure you can say it, but like,
She also said, I just see a lot of teenage mothers come through here, and it's obviously a poisonous environment to raise a baby in.
and that's not always true in every scenario. I think, and again, I think that is like this, like the stigma, and you know, like I said about the Asian girl in her class that is protesting outside Planned Parenthood when they really don't understand the whole gravity of that whole situation. Same thing, like if you're not in that situation, you can't really put yourself in those shoes unless you've been in that situation. I think people think it's an easy decision to make, like, oh, I'm pregnant, I'm 15 and I have no support. Of course I'm going to keep the kid. Well, I think that's easy to say, but if you're in that situation, you have no financial means to raise a child or support yourself. Yeah. It's not always that easy. No. Nor is it, you know, maybe you have bigger aspirations. Maybe you want to go to college, you want to go travel, you want to. Those things are put aside if you're raising a child, let alone finishing school.
Yeah.
I think I think it's just another great way that this movie shows both sides of the coin and both opinions of pro-life and pro-choice, and just and teen pregnancy in general. That's the reason why I personally had this movie 4th on the list.
Are we saying that now?
I said it.
Might as well.
Say it with your chest, Jamie. What do you got? I had it last.
I had it last.
I had it last.
See, I enjoyed the quirkiness of the movie. This is my type of movie. I love Superbad and that type of like.
I love Superbad too, but I just think Superbad. I much prefer Superbad.
Yeah, I don't
I
think.
like the
Well,
characters.
I'm
more.
not saying this movie is as good as Superbad, but because Superbad's not a serious subject
No,
matter.
definitely not.
I think it incorporates those same type of quirky little jokes in between serious parts.
I mean, a big thing for me, and then we got to move on to the next movie. A big thing for me is rewatchability is important to me
Sure.
quite a bit, and I just don't feel like I'd ever really want to go back to Juno. And that kind of plays a big part in it. Like the rest of these movies, outside of maybe one, are pretty rewatchable. So this movie, I enjoy moments of it. I do really like. I think Elliot Page is really good in this movie, and I think a lot of the other performances are really good. And I like the message, but it just, yeah, of the coming of age films during this era, it's not one that I would want to go throw on personally. But yeah, so next,
All right, so our fourth movie ranked on the list is Michael Clayton. Just a brief summary of the movie. It stars George Clooney. It's directed by Tony Gilroy, who also wrote the first three Bourne movies. The generic plot of the movie is the law firm brings in its fixer, it's Michael Clayton, played by George Clooney, who is trying to fix the situation after a lawyer has a breakdown while representing a chemical company that he knows is guilty in a multi-billion-dollar class action lawsuit.
So when it comes to this movie, I honestly had never seen it before this. I didn't think that it was bad by any means, but I do definitely think that it took a while to get going. At least for me, and kind of just figure out like what it was really about. But after I figured it out, I do definitely think it was extremely enjoyable. I thought the directing was good. The acting across the board was pretty good, other than maybe some from the still we got to. But I mean, other than that, I didn't necessarily have any huge issues with it. I definitely thought it was better.
I like it more, but I agree with Trevor. It took me a long time. Honestly, I just didn't give a shit about this movie until like the last 30 minutes. The last 30 minutes I thought was really well done. I think you could tell like the Bourne like kind of elements to this movie, especially like towards the end, and with it's kind of George Clooney's character's actions towards the end of the movie is very like Jason Bourne-esque. But I enjoyed it the last 30 minutes. I definitely think it's a movie that would be better on a rewatch, and I think I'd appreciate it more on a rewatch. But this is definitely was lower on the last on my ranking for this best picture year. Jamie, I know you like the food for us.
yeah, I was a little surprised by the ranking. I mean, I didn't know how Trevor would feel about it because I just don't know enough about Trevor's how much he likes movies, anyways, like or how much he likes movies. Are you a fan of these? No, what he prefers over other movies. I don't know what the fuck I'm even saying, but but I actually thought Alex was gonna like this movie a lot, and I was definitely off. I don't know. I like the performances a lot. I like the whole idea of the janitor and kind of following George Clooney's characters. He kind of is like the guy that they want to clean up everything. It's funny because actually thinking about this movie, I thought it'd be super cool to get more from his character in another movie, like more of what he had to clean up in the past. Because in this movie, it's more just like him trying to find out what happened to his friend. His mentor, played by Tom Wilkinson. But regardless, I don't know. Well, Tony Gilroy directed this. I think so. He wrote the Bourne movies. I love the way those movies are shot, the way they're filmed. So instantly, that portion really hits me. If I want to point out a scene that I really like, I love the scene where. So I think they highlight it in the beginning, and then you also see it towards the end. Is when we actually get more of like the janitor side of things, which I really enjoyed. When he's talking to the guy that like ran over somebody and then did a hit and run, which is insane for anybody to fucking just hit somebody and pay and just take the F off is crazy. Yes, thank you. But it's just crazy. And I like how George Clooney's character is so calm and collected while this guy is literally yelling the entire time. And just how ridiculous he sounds. I just love how this movie, like, you dive into the morals of each character and like what they're what they're willing to do to maybe get where they want, or like to save their own ass. And I like how you then have Tom Wilkinson's character who's kind of had enough of it, and he is basically trying to turn around or trying to help the person that I guess that's getting screwed in the settlement, is how you would explain it. But I thought Tom Wilkinson was really good in this movie. What did he suffer from? What was that? Was that bipolar, or is he manic? That's
And I think he just had kind of like a mental breakdown. I think he was kind of like, just very depressed. He kind of set himself in.
manic depressive. Yeah.
Yeah, like he just was very. I think it was also just everything. The whole movie. It's about how big corp is kind of coming up on me, and I think Tom Wilkinson's character kind of got to him to the point.
Way to live.
Which I think is kind of what this movie's about, especially like this era with like the housing crisis and how the economy was up in 2008. Like it's a common theme that a lot of people probably felt in that time, which is like big corp was throwing over everyone else with the money. So
It's kind of interesting because like they add in George Clooney's, I don't know if it's his brother or his cousin, I can't remember, but like who's like a drug addict or whatever, and he looks so down on him, but yet he works for this big corporation that screws people constantly. I just love how this movie interweaves all that different stuff, and like I said, just showing the morals, especially with like Tilda Swinton's character. We'll get to her. I know these guys aren't as high as like, or at least I know Trevor's not as high on like as far as her performances, as far as being nominated. But I think she is great in what she brings to the table in the movie. I would also agree. I don't know that she's deserving.
I feel no free time in this movie, like to justify nomination. Like, I think my personally, you could put anyone out there in the same as impactful, maybe not as quite as much, but like I feel like her role wasn't as pivotal as it was very male dominant. I feel like in this movie, male driven, and I think to your point about how this movie is basically showing how far people will go to get what they want, it's just very much how Tilda Swinton's character is. She don't care about how many people she screws over. She wants to protect her legacy and the image of her company.
Well, don't you feel like maybe the movie, maybe they're giving the director too much praise, but I mean the idea of her being a male dominated workplace, maybe that's why they didn't show her as Rico. I want to leave.
Maybe it sounds like a reach, but I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of here with Alex, honestly. I feel like as Tilda Swinton performances go, and I know that she's obviously talented, I do feel like
No, I
Her was like her being so weights. Like I feel like she could have done so much more, but again, I think that was the whole thing. She's kind of taking a backseat to it's called Michael Clayton. Yeah.
I personally think she's really good at that. I don't think she's been winning. Who won for Best Supporting?
yes, doing actress.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. So yes, I don't think she necessarily. That's what I thought, but I don't think she necessarily should have won by any means. But I don't mind her getting nominated. I do think she's very impactful in the scene she's in. I think she's incredible as far as it's like getting you to hate her in such short scenes, which I think Tilda Swinton is great at in general. And because her character is very despicable, and the ending scene is also amazing with him finally being like basically his gotcha scene to her because she tries to have him, I'm not going to say spoiler because if you haven't seen the movie, it's on you because you're probably watching a video on the movie or movies. But yeah, I mean, she tries to have him killed, and he ends up getting her at the end. I think it was a really cool way they did it, especially her kind of coming out of the meeting she was in. Especially the meeting, I believe that would have made her. I don't know if she would have got higher in the company, but it would have done a lot for her. But yeah, yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm on the different sides with this movie, clearly. I also one other thing besides like I think this movie is incredibly rewatchable. I think that's another reason it ranks a bit higher for me. This is the second time I've seen the movie, and I feel like I could put this movie on and have a lot of fun with it. And I think a lot of that has to do with Gilroy being the director, because I like his writing a lot. So, anything else? Y'all pretty negative. Anything positive?
What is it? I think it was a solid movie. I don't think it's something that necessarily should have been nominated for Best Picture for this year. I think that other movies that were more deserving, more impactful, and things like that. But I didn't think it was a bad movie per se. It took me a while to get going, and it's like Best Picture movies to me are ones that are very like moving, deal with very difficult topics in a meaningful way. I just this to me this felt like a movie that about a topic that I really didn't care about, honestly.
That's fair.
And it's just also a preference for me. Like, movies like this about like the government and law and stuff like that, I don't necessarily very intrigued by. I've heard like for example, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy is a great movie. I watched 30 minutes of it and it was the most bored I've ever been watching a movie. I mean, Gary Oldman's great. I'm sure he was great in it, but I had no pull with me whatsoever. I just feel like how I had kind of how this movie was, but like Jason Bourne and all the Bourne movies I really enjoy. It's a kind of different vein, but it was hard for me to really sink my teeth in this movie and really it took a while for me to really like latch onto it. Like I said, the last 30 minutes.
I mean, it's similarly paced to the Bourne movies. The difference is the Bourne movies have a lot of action in them, obviously, because Jason Bourne is in them. Or Michael Clayton is not going to go beat somebody up. He's more so.
But it would have been pretty cool if he did.
I don't know. I didn't really need it in here for me personally, but yeah. I mean, this is at number 4. It's gonna be interesting once we unveil our full list. But I also thought the score was really good. Just to highlight that James Newton Howard.
Oh, this score was pretty solid. I agree. I liked a lot of the technical aspects of this movie.
Yeah. No,
I think the pacing was very good. I think the score I thought was very well done. It just took a while for me to really hear about the movie and the characters. And then until I did, it was over.
I'm not a miracle work. I'm a janitor.
I didn't realize it.
Yeah, yeah, Jimmy, you're right. They should do a spin-off where he's, being a janitor. Like actually a janitor.
No, I mean like a prequel, like him
Like
doing more, doing more janitor type things. Like I don't understand what people are abilities. But it would have been cool to see like more when like maybe he wasn't as, I guess, I don't want to say like a good guy by the end. That's wrong phrase or wrong way to put it. But like
when he was like dirty Mike.
no, be more of like okay with the dirty side of things. Like it's good.
Dirty small things,
Yeah. Anyways, so that's our 4th movie. Well, my ranking was number 2.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that. Yeah. So I'm sorry, Jamie, you're not number, buddy. So I'm really just to see this top 3 and where it shakes out. I think it's the same for everyone.
But definitely not now. I think it was, but it's definitely not now.
Well, I think my ranking is right.
I think
As Alex continues to get this smug smile on the camera. All right, so the next movie we got is There Will Be Blood. That is our 3rd one, Alex.
Oh, yeah. The 3rd movie is There Will Be Blood, which is the movie surrounds Daniel Plainview, which is played by Daniel Day-Lewis. It's basically his entire like rise and fall and like the prospect for oil business and kind of how his life progresses after he kind of strikes rich. So it's directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, which he's done a bunch of really good movies, Boogie Nights, most recently
Licorice
that one.
Pizza,
What?
Licorice Pizza. Word.
One battle after another.
Why do you laugh at Licorice Pizza? Do you not like it?
Skateboard Jamie.
He directed that. Did he not?
He didn't.
Okay, then what are you talking about?
He also directed
Punch Drunk Love.
Monday Lewis and Connected Thread. But anyways, yeah, let's get into their week while we were talking about Trevor.
How was your first?
Oh, I'm first this time. I love this movie. I had it second on my list.
You don't have to look directly at Trevor every time you go into it. Hey, Trevor! It's not new.
Take it away.
Like, I think people know what you're talking about at this point. If they don't know who I am, I will up to them.
So I love No Big Blood. I think Dan Day-Lewis is amazing in this movie. He really it feels like a movie that's really about like a real person's life, which is it's all fictional made up. But I think he does such a tremendous job of like the beginning and how his greed pretty much overruled everything in his life and dictated everything he did, including adopting this fake son, which he told him was his real son the whole time. And the whole movie, I think, does a really good job of that era of America, which was very much driven on expanding, and just basically turning everything over for a profit if you could, and just growing your own empire, which I think shows they did a great job of showing like all the different ups and downs throughout the entire journey with his first oil field and then moving up and then competing with other oil companies as well. I think, and then obviously we'll talk about the end scene, which I think is like one of the best scenes in any movie that I've ever seen. But yeah, Daniel Day-Lewis crushed it. I think Paul Dano was amazing, especially for one of his like first role. Like I think when I think of this movie, it's like I think of them almost equal with their performances. I think they're both really, really good. And obviously, Paul Dano's in a very limited role. I think he definitely should have nominated for best supporting. It's kind of crazy. It's not one, in my opinion, with some of the performances from this year. I think that like Paul Dano, like in the last scene, Paul Dano is like on the same level as Daniel Plainview and Daniel Day-Lewis's character. I think because they are both doing the same thing. All their decisions are both based on greed, but they're presenting as they're helping the community, and this is going to be better for everyone involved, and that type of thing. But both of them have the underlying kind of motivation, selfish motivation. So I think this movie did a great job of showing that era, especially Paul Dano's character is basically trying to grow a church with Daniel Plainview's crooked money that he has. But yeah, what did you think, Trevor?
Well, I would just quickly say, you said he could have won.
Hey, did he win? Yeah,
I'm supporting. You won of this.
too.
I'll be ever put it down.
Yeah.
I don't think he's.
But how is that best supporting though? Because like,
I'm guessing they probably had well, they didn't have anybody's best actor for No Country.
I just don't know how you would have.
Yeah, then I mean Casey Affleck and Assassination of Jesse Jenkins. I have not seen it. Philip Seymour Hoffman for Charlie Wilson's War. Into the Wild, but Hal Holbrook and then Tom Wilkinson at the one who played.
I mean, I think my personal opinion, I think Paul Dano had a much better performance than like Tom Wilkinson.
I wouldn't go much.
The other one.
I don't. To me, the one is asking way more from an actor than the other, but I think Tom Wilkinson is deserving of being nominated. Granted, I would also say that Paul Dano is very deserving. But
I would have to look into like the best actor a little bit more, but I don't know how Javier Bardem was nominated for best supporting in the country. Oh man, we'll get to that later.
Well, I mean, Daniel Day-Lewis won. George Clooney was nominated. Johnny Depp which is super odd for this. I haven't not seen this movie, so I can't say Sweeney Todd and the David Harbour Fleet Street. Tommy Lee Jones was nominated for not for No Country for Old Men, but for In the Valley of
You
Elah, and then Viggo Mortensen was nominated for Distant Promises.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know how you can classify Javier Bardem as a supporting actor in that movie. We'll talk about that later. Really, I'm not after this movie, but like,
Yeah, Chuck.
anyways, House Band was amazing. That's what I'm trying to get at. They both drove this whole movie for me. Like, that's what the rewatchability is, just how great their acting is in this movie.
Absolutely.
I'm with you.
Yeah, no, I think very highly of this film as well. I think that in regards to the characters themselves, they're two different sides of the same coin. They use people for their own personal benefit, and I think especially the part that said that the best to me is the part around the campfire with his like fake brother at the time. He basically just tells him he really does not like people, and you can kind of see like how like inhuman he really is, and it's only just about money. What can they do for me, and how can they progress my life and things like that. The directing is fantastic. Obviously, Paul Thomas Anderson is one of the best looking today. Another scene that shows that really well in the end when he switches up on his son immediately. When he just comes on, like, and he puts him with it to tell him, "Hey, I want to do this. I want to start my own drilling thing," and that he immediately is just like, "Oh, well, you're an editor now." And he didn't like him seeing him as whatever he's seen him up until that point.
Yeah.
In his eyes, it's been gone. There's no respect for him. So
Yeah.
silly boy. Yeah, it's so insane. Say this where I had it in my rankings.
Yeah.
Okay, I had it at 1. So this was
Wow.
this
Oh,
was
wow.
I think
Thanks a lot, Jamie.
I think
I had it in 4.
comes to the performances and directing, and honestly, like anything you look for in a movie, these like this only come around every so often.
Mhm.
And like performances alone, Daniel Day-Lewis might be one of the best of the 21st century, and I don't know. I think it brings it that to a whole different level, in my opinion. But
I'm an oil man. I like to think of myself as an oil man. I love that line. I don't know why, but it makes me laugh because it's kind of ridiculous, but it fits like that character perfectly. Yes, I mean, what can we really say about Daniel Day-Lewis that hasn't been said a billion times in general and in this movie? Like, this is the first time I've seen this movie.
Really?
Yeah. No, that's
So
I've seen it prior, but
Well, your opinion's wrong, Jamie.
I do know everything I heard of is like his performance, and then like that's all people talk about when they talk about this movie. I also agree Paul Dano is great. I don't know if I would put him on the same level. I just think Daniel Day-Lewis, I think it's one of the best performances I've ever seen. Now that being said, obviously I have it fourth, which we'll get to, but this is the positives. I love the set. I don't know if y'all even mentioned that as much. And the costumes. I don't know how. We should probably have done better research as far as like what each one. But I gotta think it's gotta be in there for best costume, best set design.
from what I can see,
That's crazy.
1, 2, which obviously one of them is
Best actor.
it just got nominated for directing, adapted screenplay, cinematography, film editing, art direction, and sound editing. I think, I mean,
Cinematography. A lot of times.
I think I know this is like a very weird thing to think about with this movie, but some of the scenes where the oil like is exploding out in the air and how everything is covered, everyone's covered in the oil. Those scenes I think are so beautiful, even though how grimy and disgusting it really is in real life. And those scenes really stick out to me because it made it not seem like much of a like blue collar job, because like Daniel Day-Lewis' entire character, he's made a life for himself doing this. And I think that's the difference in the first scene where he's down in the well, he's down doing the mining and the digging, to now he's setting up these big oil rigs and everything else like that.
Well, I like by the end, and even though you have the scene, not to jump ahead because I have other causes, but you have a scene where he is with his son when he's still younger, and then you have all the guys that are trying to like buy him out or whatever they're trying to do, and he feels so good about himself because he's able to tell them no because of where he's at success, like being successful and everything. But yet, by the end of the movie, he's still not happy. He everything he said he was going to, and still was just just a very unhappy human being. Very
Do you think that kind of goes back to the whole greed thing, where it's just
Yeah.
like people like that? I mean,
yeah.
there's not really enough money.
Videos.
Yeah, I think he could have owned the entire like Earth by himself. No humans could. He got everyone enslaved. I still think he would not be like content with where he is, and that's I mean that's the downfall of his character. That's
I will say the craziest scene is when Eli Sunday, which I believe is
Paul Dano.
Paul Dano's character, he's talking to his dad. He's like, "You're lazy and you're stupid," and he fucking actually jumps on his dad.
Yeah.
And the whole thing I'm thinking, I'm just like, to be the wife in that situation, what the fuck are you even doing? Like, it's such a crazy scene. Yeah, I mean, this is what I think I said this earlier. The top 4 movies for me are all like right near each other. To me, it's not really that big of a gap for any of them. Personally, I don't think Juno is on the level of those other 4 movies, just from a personal standpoint. So like me having this at 4 doesn't mean I like don't like the movie. I think it's a great movie. I think Daniel Day-Lewis has a top 5 performance ever. I'll say as we get into the negatives, am I like the biggest PTA fan? I can't say that. I don't really think most of his movies are that rewatchable. Just because his style, but we'll get into that. Do you have any other positives? I mean, I know there's not going to be much negatives, but
I mean, I just think the whole like last 15 minutes of the movie, the whole scene with the bowling alley, it's just like it's just an insane like scene. It almost looks like the you see in social media of like candid cameras of like a police shooting or something like that. Like it's a very intimate but like super colorful like scene where basically, Dan Clayview it's lost entire shit. I mean he's pissing and drinking in the bowling alley, like in the lane.
I was wondering, how you were going to feel about the ending. I thought the ending was awesome all through.
And I think again, it just goes to show like he's completely lost like meaning. Like at this point in his life, his son has left him. I think his whole motivation, like I've talked about multiple times, is it's the money, it's the success, everything else, to the fact that he has no one else around him, and nothing else to live for. He's done it all, but he's still not content. So he just basically drinks himself to death, and then beats Eli Sunday to death with a bowling ball.
I really love how that scene with Cars too, because Eli walks in the suit and he kind of feels like that he's almost on the same level as or exceeded him,
Yeah,
and then within minutes, the situation like definitely shifts.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I love him so much.
Anyway, it's any negative. Yeah, I guess I'll start. This is probably ruffles some feathers. I don't really like the score. I found it at times very jarring. One of my least favorite moments of this movie is like right after the big explosion. It was very jarring. The score is so jarring, it like takes me out of the scene. And I feel like it happens a couple times in this movie. I just think that some of the choices made, and I get it's supposed to make you uncomfortable, but it made me uncomfortable to a point where I did not like. Wanted to make me fast forward because I did not like the choice of score during that, especially that moment in particular. I just felt it was incredibly jarring. This is really the only negative I have, other than I'm just not a huge PTA fan. With that being said, I think he's a great filmmaker. I just don't. His movies are not like some of my favorites. Like I like Licorice Pizza. I don't know that I ever would want to watch Licorice Pizza again. I like Punch Drunk Love. I don't think I would ever want to watch it again. There's a couple others I've never seen. I've never seen Phantom Thread, which you mentioned. I've never seen Boogie Nights. I hear I would love that, but I've not seen that.
Yeah. The movies I think that you mentioned, I think are like Boogie Nights. I think is very watchable, personally.
Yeah,
think
I've not seen it.
I think Punch Drunk Love is rewatchable. I think One Battle After Another is rewatchable. I'm itching for it to come back out on streaming so that I can watch it again.
That one I would agree. That one is probably the one that's seen probably the most rewatchable. And I, as much as I love this movie, I would not find myself wanting to just put it on constantly, but I do recognize that, to be honest, like if I want to put it on, it's because I want to see one of the best performances ever, not necessarily the movie itself. But with that being said, this is not a Ray situation. This movie is still way better than Ray.
Yeah.
Because like Jamie Foxx killed it in that movie, and I think that's one of the best performances ever. But like that movie itself was just okay. I'm not saying that. I think this is definitely an all-time great movie. Just a preference. That's how I feel. Do y'all have any negatives? I'm sure Trevor probably doesn't.
I don't have a ton of negatives. I do think it was slow at parts.
Yeah.
That's the only really negative. I love the score and the like the increase of the loudness of the music while there's something dramatic, like the oil spill and the thing catching on fire. I personally love that because, especially with the scene where his son goes deaf, because it's kind of showing the, I don't know. I like the difference in the music is super loud, and it kind of like almost mellows out what's happening in the background because you see it's not about like the explosion and everything else. To me, it's about the fact that the son and Daniel Panemi's relationship has completely changed.
I agree with you. I just felt the choice of what they used to me, I found it jarring. But that's really just me from a personal standpoint.
Yeah.
I mean,
I definitely do think it dominates a little bit there. The music and the score definitely dominates the theme a little bit.
I'm definitely on an island with that. I probably, it just affected me differently probably than it did with anybody else. Trevor, do you have anything? Probably not.
No, I mean,
As it's zero.
I did definitely think that at times it was a little slow. The pacing wasn't always like amazing.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, other than that, I did feel like the next scenes after that kind of just snapped right back into it, and like I found myself like extremely locked in at that point. Like other than that, I mean, I really that is definitely one of the best films I've seen in a very long time. So when it comes to negatives, that's kind of the only thing.
Anyways, that was our number 3 order. No, 3. 3.
No, you're fourth, Jamie.
Yeah, that was my. Did you say what yours was?
I had this second.
Very good. So we're going into our number 2, or collective number 2. Not, I think. Yeah, we'll get into it. Which is Atonement, directed by Joe Wright.
So yeah, Jamie said Atonement is directed by Joe Wright. That's basically about a young girl, writer Bryony, who's played by Saoirse Ronan. I think this is one of her first movies.
It's up there. Yeah, I don't know exactly our first movie. It's up there.
It kind of surfaces around her basically all the events around the one thing that she sees, and how what she decides to do with what she sees changes the entire course of her sister and her family, and how all of that, her decision to speak up about something that she thought she saw, changes their entire lives. I'll go. Sure, we can go first. Where did you have Atonement?
Where's my turn?
Okay, fuck you. Go ahead. Where did you have this? Where do you have this rank?
I gotta be honest, I love this movie. I had to rank 2 to answer your question.
I had it 2 as well.
I originally had it 3. Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, let's start.
Jamie doesn't even know.
Yeah, the orders. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I had this movie at 3. Yes, I originally had it at 4 and switched it.
You had it 2, 3, or 4.
I had 3. Yeah, I had it at 3. Alex had it at 2. Trevor also had it at 3. I'll say It's very debatable for being it too, not to screw more people up. I it's the second time I've seen this movie, so it's a movie I had seen prior. I think the performances are fantastic. I love the chemistry with Keira Knightley and James McAvoy. I think they play off each other incredibly well. Um, I Saoirse Ronan as uh, being younger in this movie is really good. I thought the girl that played the character of I don't know if I can mispronounce it, Brion or the main character
Well, Bryony.
Brian.
That's Cersei, right?
Yeah, no, I'm saying the Brian. Yeah, I forgot how to pronounce that. I thought the girl that played her when she got older did a good job. I actually think the person that played her, which was the oldest, actually did really well for just that small scene.
Nice.
This movie definitely teaches you that your actions do have consequences. The shit that you do can really affect people. And this case, I mean, the things that Bryony does as far as like basically saying that James McAvoy's character um, uh, what molested that the I don't know that girl's character's name, but the girl from what's that show? Ted, not Ted.
Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso.
Yeah, but their anchor character's name's Lola.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lola.
Well, yeah, which is it's super messed up that she ends up getting really with the guy that
With Benedict Cumberbatch.
yeah, there's a scene in this movie and that's like he plays it perfectly, but it's very despicable and like just very uncomfortable. I also think this movie does a really good job of tackling guilt. It's a hard thing to get through as the character of Brion deals with the entire movie.
Yeah, Brian.
Bryony, why can't I fucking get that name right? Bryony, Brion, Brian, God. They could follow you forever, you know. Try not to. The thing is that you also have to move on. Like, you can't waste your life holding on to the same thing, even though it seemed like she did for years and years and years. Yeah, I think this movie is great. It's a romantic war movie while also being a drama, obviously, and then it just touches on so many themes and just plenty of good performances. And of the Joe Wright films that I've seen, I've actually probably only seen this in Pride and Prejudice. I definitely prefer this over Pride and Prejudice, but I haven't seen Pride and Prejudice in a little bit, so I can't say for sure. But yeah, I thought this movie was really great.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was a great movie. I think to speak on your part about how it goes past stuff like it kind of transcends several genres. I thought this movie was really funny. There was a lot of really funny scenes. I think the whole mix up with James McAvoy's character giving Brian the envelope that said about I'm gonna lick your I think also just the fact of them showing them typing out CU and CD I thought was funny and also like just it's basically this whole movie was like the equivalent like 200 years ago of accidentally sending like a picture of yourself to the wrong person. Like,
Yeah, sure.
be sending it, uh, a new picture to the wrong number to your mom or something like that. Like that's what the equivalent of this movie is. That he and basically the backtrack that he's trying to backtrack but end up I mean clearly is into him also. But the innocence of a child seeing like misinterpreting things that like obviously as you mature you see things differently. Um I think the other thing that I thought was funny about this movie is that Saoirse Ronan and Bryony's characters keeps finding people having sex. Like twice throughout the movie. And she's like, oh, there they go again in the forest. But this thing like
Is it training day? Just time
Yeah.
weird funny women.
I just I don't know how intentionally if it was supposed to be funny. I thought some of these like just the circumstances of some of these situations I thought was very funny. And then you think I think like One thing I really did like about this movie is the scene with Saoirse Ronan finding Benedict Cumberbatch and Lola, the character Lola's character, having sex in the woods. What you could see it was Benedict Cumberbatch for like a very brief second and immediately pans away. But when she's just has that in her head already that it's James McAvoy again, that she doesn't even, it's like blurred. I think we're seeing what she was seeing of it's blurred, but you can see it from a unbiased opinion that it's clearly Benedict Cumberbatch. But when she already has that in her head that it's James McAvoy, I think that's what she takes away from it.
For the character of Robbie, played by James McAvoy, him and Cecilia really got up by just when Bronny, I can't remember.
Yeah, Brian James.
Brian James, when she when she finds them, they do a really bad job of like not saying anything.
It just freeze.
It's like they just walk off, and I'm like, that's really not the way to handle this. And not that like I don't know if you could blame Sorcerer's character too much because how young she is.
Right.
It's tough. But yeah, I have a lot more that I like. But
Yeah. Number 2 spot is very good. Nobody really brought it up. I really like the editing in this movie. I thought at least like early on, like within like the setup is very, very good. And I do, nobody also brought it up. I think that, in my opinion, Saoirse Ronan. So yeah, I believe that she should have won for best supporting
I agree.
over Tilda Swinton, but that's just what. But overall, I had no idea what this was about going into it. I haven't really heard of it until we were going to do this. I watched the trailer beforehand. Jamie just told me that it's kind of fucked up.
and it is. I mean, it's maybe not fucked up in a way that like maybe a horror film is or something like that, but it's like its own kind of horror. I mean, it to mess up their relationship that could have went nowhere, and then like obviously fast forwarding into when Robbie eventually dies on the road. The scene with I love the scene, even though it didn't actually happen, which I actually like that it didn't actually happen because it fit perfectly towards the ending.
Yeah.
But like the scene where they're all together and after so many years, I thought was one of my favorite scenes in the movie, and it's so chilling because you can feel the pain in Robbie, and same as the rest of them. But you also could feel that Cecilia probably wanted to forgive her sister, but almost felt like she couldn't. And yeah, that was just a powerful, powerful scene. And I thought the war stuff was shot great for a like romantic like war movie.
Yeah, it's the amount of time that actually was about the war. Like some of these scenes, like I thought I was like actually watching Dunkirk.
Yeah.
Man.
If I'm not mistaken, that shot on the beach, is that all one shot where it's going through?
I think I read it. It was. I believe I read that.
Yeah.
It was.
That was shot really well.
Yeah, the track. Yeah, that was all like one. Yeah. But yeah, no, I thought the score was great. It might be my favorite score of all these movies. And then yeah, I don't feel like we said more stuff was done really well, and honestly, kind of brutal for a movie that you didn't expect to be.
I agree. Anything else, Trevor, that you liked about this movie?
Overall, I mean, honestly, I didn't think that there was any downtime at all. I thought that it was paced extremely well.
Yeah.
The dialogue was obviously great, and I do agree with Alex. There were some like unconventionally like funny parts in it. Yeah, I definitely think that it definitely deserved the praise that it got, especially the best actor nomination. I also think that I don't know, this could be a reach, but like I know earlier in the film, Cecilia, she had previously worked at a hospital or something like that, and I don't know if it was, I can't remember, but I don't know if it was Bridie's choice to do the same thing, or if it was like more so with the guilt that she was dealing with. It was just like, oh well, I fucked their life up, so how can I, how can I help this?
Oh, you mean like that? Oh, you're talking about that? Okay. Yeah, because I had a question about the ending, but well, my only negative would be it is kind of a tough watch, but I don't know if that's really a negative as much as
I
like,
mean, that's what the movies are about.
yeah, no, but I mean like the rewatchability. It's not something I personally would go back and watch it because I love the movie, but like I could see if someone saw it, like
Be like, that's it. I don't.
yeah, yeah,
I
like
mean,
I get that aspect.
I thought it was very watchable. Trevor, do you think?
No, I definitely agree. I definitely think that, like you said, at least the subject matter and the people just being like, for
Yeah.
ultimately heartbreaking.
I get it. Yes, that's how some people say that.
So one time thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did have this I did have one question for this movie. I said, "What's y'all's thoughts?"
Hey y'all, what's y'all's thoughts on this?
I'm not laughing to get that. I say y'all all the time. Well, I'm definitely going to name off again. How do you say her name?
Brian.
Bryony. You cannot get that right. I just want you twice for taking her name right. What's y'all's thoughts on Bryony being Robbie seal their happiness through her book?
I think like just in like my personal opinion with like life and having regrets about decisions you made in the past. I mean, sometimes people won't forgive you. And that's just the reality of what it is. You have to deal with kind of the mourning process in your own way, and that's how she did it. I think. I mean, I think it's that she wrote in like 30, 40, I don't know how many books, a lot of books, and that was her final book.
Yeah, it was pretty.
So I think it was one she could not, she couldn't finish because she didn't know how to end it because there wasn't a good ending. We both died young, and her daughter or her sister didn't forgive her. So I think to that point, I think that's why it's very bittersweet. It's very heartbreaking because I think we've all had moments in life where you wish you had done something different. You can't go back, apologize, change your actions, change what you said, and things like that. And it's just those kind of feelings. You feel for Bronny, even though what she did was messed up, but she's also a young girl that
Yeah.
to understand what was going on.
How old do you think she would be when we flash forward to like the war time era?
I don't know.
I think it'd be like late 20s.
Yeah, I would think like 20s and early 30s. I would have to see
How long was the time gap?
because I'm not sure.
Also, like 19, I feel like I don't think she was.
It says Brian's character was 13 when the happened, and I think I mean like in the movie Benedict Cumberbatch's character was talking about the war and talking about chocolate and all this other crap. I don't know what he was talking about. Big curve, but it had to have been like years. Maybe she was in her early 20s. I would guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. I'm surprised that the nominations for Kira or James at all.
I think James deserved the nomination, but I think also like this year was like absolute load, especially when you
Yeah.
Javier Bardem. Like I was much better like Javier Bardem in the supporting role and not in the leading role. I think it's hard for him to get a nom.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
some of these are hard for me to say because I haven't seen all the movies. I mean, for Best Actor, I've seen 3 of 5 because I saw obviously There Will Be Blood, Michael Clayton, and then Eastern Promises. You had Viggo Mortensen.
who else is it?
Viggo Mortensen.
What's all?
I read these earlier. Daniel Day-Lewis, There Will Be Blood, George Clooney, Michael Clayton, Johnny Depp, Sweeney Todd, and the Demon Barber's Fleet Street, Tommy Lee Jones in the Valley of Elah, and Viggo Mortensen in Eastern Promises. I personally, you probably wouldn't agree because I know you like Eastern Promises. I would have put James McAvoy instead of Viggo Mortensen, but
I haven't seen it.
You've seen it.
I haven't seen Sweeney Todd.
I do.
I feel like Johnny Depp probably kills that role. I haven't seen it either.
Probably true. I haven't seen it though.
So I love Viggo Mortensen and Eastern Promises. Talking about this movie, we'll get to that later. But when I watched Eastern Promises a couple years ago, I watched like a Viggo Mortensen run where I watched like 5 of his movies in a row. That just like he was really good in Eastern Promises.
I mean, could they have chosen James McAvoy as supporting? I mean, they do that shit all the time.
I mean,
so,
yeah, I think honestly, in this piece is almost like more of a supporting.
Yeah.
I don't know if he would stay as the lead in this movie, honestly.
No, I think it's pretty evenly spaced out between.
I mean, I feel like the lead is Saoirse Ronan's character, but like
What's the character's name?
Briny. But like it's played by three different actresses, so it's like kind of it's like tough. Like I don't know.
And the actress that played her at the end, I thought was really, really good. I can't imagine the whole movie that's your only role, as you're talking about this extremely emotional roller coaster that you went through your entire life, and it's just the last 10 minutes, and you're recording that last 10 minutes, like you're not in the last 10 minutes of the movie, and you get act rest in the movie. I think that
She was great.
she was amazing. I don't know how these vibes.
I think she's definitely somebody new, but I don't. Vanessa Redgrave.
Ronnie.
Vanessa Redgrave. I don't know.
I want to touch on the question that you asked. Though.
Yeah, good.
I do think her having to live with that sort of like unfinished business of I never got to make amends with either of them, and then just to live your entire life out like they were supposed to, based off of your mistake, and then that was taken from them. I do feel like the book is definitely like kind of her like coping in a way, but it's also like obviously she was robbed of that opportunity, so she does feel immensely guilty for it. But it is extremely unfair.
Yeah.
Like I do understand that she was a child and she didn't fully understand it, but at least in the moment for me when I was watching it, it felt like she was so sure. She wanted him to get caught. It seemed like.
Yeah.
So I don't know that she was so sure. I think as a kid she misunderstood, like obviously misunderstood the situation, but also just misunderstood. Maybe not understanding the extent to which she would be persecuted, but
What would have happened if she didn't read the letter?
probably because that letter filled a lot. It filled her head with a lot of stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, they made him a lot of mistakes, but like I can't blame them for. You can't blame Robbie or Cecilia because it's just. I mean, because they're not young when it comes to her, but they're still younger, so you're gonna make mistakes. But all right, I'm getting into our number one, which is what I would have guessed would be number one, regardless. This is oh well, yeah, There Will Be Blood by the Coen Brothers.
That was loved by Coen Brothers.
Yes, Coen Brothers.
There will be blood.
Oh. I honestly did not realize I put There Will Be Blood at all.
Yeah.
No Country for Old Men, directed by the Owen brothers. Alex.
So, No Country for Old Men, it's about Josh Brolin's character. He's a hunter. He's out hunting the Rio Grande, and he ends up on like a shootout, a drug deal that went bad. Ends up finding like gets over $2 million in cash under a tree, and then it's basically the entire sequence of events after that decision to take that money home. And it stars Javier Bardem, Holly Jones, Josh Brolin. I think there's some other. I'm trying to think who else. Say again. Woody Harrelson's in it for a little bit. Josh Brolin's wife, Kelly McDonald, was in it as well. Trevor, how did you had No Country for Old Men?
Trevor, why didn't you have this number one? You said that earlier, and that's why you didn't react to it, and I was like, damn, Alex was not that good about it.
It was definitely I love this piece. It could have been.
No, I don't know. Like I should have similar thing. I mean, yeah, good.
But oh my god, you want to talk about like killing. Honestly, the performance in this one across the board, obviously everybody does a great job, and I also love how there's like almost no score. It's just a lot of silence. I feel like it adds eeriness of it.
100%.
I mean, I do also really like how to touch on like Patrick Derwin. Anybody who interacts with him, I feel like if they refuse any risk, it's like they kind of like steal their fate. Where it's like if you don't want to play like his game or whatever, it's just like, well then you have no choice of living. I'm not super familiar with the Coen brother work, I know that Alex is the huge fan.
Who's the one? Oh, not independent, but they both come out very independently, but together. They got something to do. So
But I've seen
they get back to
Fargo's good in like this one, and I've seen worked out. I know you have some mixed opinions on it. But I could definitely think that this is their best work, hands down.
Yeah, I would agree. I'll just touch on. I mean, this movie got nominated. It had 16 nominations. That's literally insane. Or no, sorry, this movie had 6 nominations.
I was going to say 16.
Sorry, but I was going to say that the cinematography was amazing. Roger Deakins, who did the cinematography of this movie, had 16 nominations. He did like so many. I mean, the last 20 years, 30 years, so many classics: Shawshank, True Grit, which also Coen Brothers, Sicario, Fargo, Blade Runner 2049. Like he's done. I mean, those are just the ones that won.
Alex really commend this movie so hard. He said 16 nominations.
Yeah, I have a hard on.
Take that, Michael Clayton.
I'm hard on for this movie. I love this movie. I think this thing Trevor said that there's a lot of scenes that are like just empty dialogue and sound in general. Like there's no sound, there's no dialogue. It's just like silence. You're just, like the first 15 minutes of him hunting and finding the money, there's like zero dialogue at all. And I thought like I was so intrigued and like brought in with that first 15 minutes, even though there's like little to no anything to like really make you immersed in, and you have to get yourself immersed in it very quickly. I think this movie makes this whole area look huge, like this whole town of Texas look massive, and just like being close to Mexico, even though the reality is it's probably not that big of an area. I think that Josh Brolin's character is great. I think for me, the reason why this movie stands out to me is one of my favorites is because you don't know who the movie's about. You really don't know who the movie's about. Is it about Anton? Is it about Tommy Lee Jones wanting to retire and be done with this type of Phoenix sheriff? Because it's a lot more of like these deadly encounters that he's going through. Or is it about, Llewellyn Moss, played by Josh Brolin? Is it about him finding money and trying to capitalize on an opportunity in like a town that's not, it's kind of struck with poverty. There's not a lot of people that have made it in that area. And then I think like combined with that, I think the movie's about Anton personally. I think that's the main source of this movie, like the main road you go down. Because I think for me, I was trying to figure out what his motivation is the whole movie. He's like a character that doesn't really have necessarily the one particular motivation from one scene to the next. Like the gas station scene, he gives him the choice of flipping the coin, and then the guy wins, and he doesn't kill him. But there's other scenes where he's taking people's cars to the and just kills them. There's no explanation. He just kills them.
I mean, that's what being a psychopath.
And I think like, but then also at the same time, he does like deviate from his like moral code, if you will, that you think you know about him. With like he promises Llewellyn he's gonna kill his wife, and he still doesn't. But like throughout the movie, he really doesn't kill any women at all. Throughout the movie, really, he only kills him at the end, but then he goes and kills his wife at the end. I just thought this movie has like endless rewatchability for me because you can look at it from so many different angles. From the Tommy Lee Jones perspective, from Anton's perspective, and from Llewellyn's perspective. I just think this movie is amazing.
All right, it's been said. We can move on.
Sorry.
I'm glad up now. Yeah, I mean, this is definitely like I've joked before. I mean, Alex definitely disagree on quite a bit, but this is one movie that we definitely are pretty much on board with. Awesome, great performances across the board. My theory on Javier Bardem, why he was supporting actors, because they didn't think he had a chance of winning against Daniel Day-Lewis. A lot of times that happens. They'll be like, can we push towards best supporting? I don't know if this happened specifically for this, but that does happen. Let's push it for this award because we know he's not going to win best actor. And while I would probably vote for him over Daniel Day-Lewis, which is, I think both are top 5 performances ever. But like, is somebody that I just prefer to just watching, it's higher about him. I think he's insanely creepy. I'm a horror movie fan, and so like that villain side of him and like that horror movie type stuff always is going to be just hit me a bit more. I also agree with the score. I love the more silence type of approach. I just think that a score would have ruined a lot of the scenes. Uh, just like so many memorable stuff. The what was it? The not air gun, but the
Like the air compressor.
air compressor. That's crazy. Uh, all the stuff with him and Josh Brolin, like the chase scene, is freaking amazing. It's crazy to me because I am not as big a Coen Brothers fan as Alex is. I do enjoy some of the other movies, but like I just feel like, well, actually that's a lie. I do love the Big Lebowski. I almost forgot about that. But I just feel like this movie is just on a different level. But I would say Big Lebowski is up there as a great movie also. I have not seen Over Other Around Town. I know you mentioned that. I've actually seen more of their more recent stuff, which I know is not looked on.
What's the last thing we together?
Um, the Ballad of Buster's Drugs.
Did they do the Denzel movie?
No, I think it was
The
separate.
tragedy, I think.
I think it was separate. I think, or maybe it wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was just one. I think it was just Joel with that.
True Grit's great. I definitely enjoyed that. They can be hit or miss sometimes for me, but I do some of their top end stuff.
Raising Arizona.
I have not seen
This is like a DVD, especially for one of their first movies. Like
it.
to come out with that after you have like success with like your first movie, to put that out, I just think it says a lot about the confidence you have in filmmaking.
Yeah, and I also like you said, they follow Dominic Jones' character. Like he kind of sees that the world is kind of passing him by. Like things are constantly changing around him, all these new stuff, and that's why he kind of that's part of why he retires. But yeah, I don't even know what else to say. It's just like there's so many great things about this movie. The cashier scene is one of the more chilling scenes in any movie, uh, and where the guy actually survives. Funny enough, but yeah, I think Anton Chigurh is one of the greatest characters ever in a movie. Like period point blank, in my opinion. I just you could always like even if you're not in the mood to necessarily go back watch this movie, you could put on a clip of just those different like scenes and just like be like, hell yeah. Then again, it might convince you to watch the movie right then and there. But yeah, I mean, I, yeah, I mean that's it's one of the best movies ever made.
What I let's talk about one of my favorite scenes of this movie is the where Anton and Llewellyn actually face each other in in the hotel and they're on their chasing. Like that is one of the most like it's one of the most for a chase scene where there's actually not there's very little actual chase. Like if you really think about how far they actually run in that movie, like in that scene, it's like 100 feet. But that scene feels so big, it feels huge. Like it feels like and they're like the stillness of the night and they're it's really just one on one and it's you're thinking Anton's gonna like obviously get Llewellyn in that moment because this guy's a machine. But Llewellyn, outsmarts him and hits him and it's kind of like they're recovering until they face again. I think that is like one of the most scenes that sticks out to me in this movie, just how powerful they again no real score, no real dialogue, and it's all just imagery and the cinema of it.
One of the things that I really did like going back to Tommy Lee's character, where you kind of said that like the world's kind of just moving by him. I love how he doesn't carry a gun, and because it kind of symbolizes that like he comes from a time, at least in this area, where like you don't really need that type of like force. Whereas like the whole cartel thing being down, yeah. Whereas like things are definitely going past him now, and he's my time has come.
That's a big no.
Yeah.
For my parallel.
Yeah.
This movie actually does have some good comedic moments. The little Cohen brothers, which I like to put. Nowadays, they go a little bit crazy with some of them, but
talk about Honey Don't or anything.
Hey, I am not saying that's a really good movie, but Honey Don't is okay. It's all right. I didn't hate watching it. But yes. All right. Negatives for anybody.
The only negative I really have with this movie is I really like the ending, but I don't love the ending.
How was that? That was one of my questions.
I liked that shows that one that he is human somewhat, and he gave money for a kid to give him a shirt, but then he just walks off, and that's the mystery of it. I thought that's just the mystery of the character. You don't know what happens after.
Cool. Do you? So some people that complain, that's not you're not one person that can, because there are people that don't generally don't like the ending because they think it is more of a book ending and it's not a movie ending. Would you be okay if they changed it to not being the book ending? I mean, it's not like they haven't done that and people haven't done that at the same time soon, but it kind of just ends.
Yeah.
I mean, but I feel like at least for his character, that's what works. Like I feel like because you don't know much anything about him beforehand, you know very little while you're watching him on screen, and for that to be the ending, I just feel like it's very fitting for the character personally.
Yeah, he's a very like polarizing character that you really know nothing about besides his actions in the movie. You don't know anything, and that's like I think that is a very good ending for that character. I just don't. I know there's the whole talk with Kylie Jones at the end, like he's in there with his dad. He's like, I just told me I can't do this anymore. Things are changing. Like you said, life's kind of passing him by. It's too fast for him. The world's changed. I just would like to see a little bit more. I don't know. But also, like, what would they have changed? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it is a very good ending. I just want a little bit more from it. But
There was one sequence that I just thought about. It's just a nitpick of mine. It's the scene where was it Kelly McDonald finds out that Josh Brolin's character was got down, obviously.
yeah,
And she starts to cry and they like pan away really quickly. I'm more of a person that likes living in that shot and living in her reaction and then her mom's reaction. But just feel like it's a very this is a nitpick, but this I would have liked to live in that scene a little longer. And I feel like it's just like just on to the next thing right away. That's just a nitpick that I
but do you
thought
think
about.
that was almost purposeful because like I feel like the whole movie is so devoid of emotion that like they don't even want to show that, especially because what happens later where Anton returns,
Yeah.
he's back.
No, yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, it probably wouldn't have been what I was just saying. I guess it's just like my personal um side of things. I just like seeing the
You have to see women cry.
yes, that's it. Put it on there and clip it.
That's what I you guys. So how do you feel about the woman's character being like killed off the screen? Did that feel to you, or how do you feel about that, Lo?
Honestly, I liked it better, I think, because again, it takes the emotion out of the kill because you don't see it happen. To see the aftermath of Tommy Lee Jones seeing it.
Well, I don't think they want me to fully be like wanting his character to necessarily survive because he's not like he's not necessarily a bad person, but he's not like quote unquote a good person.
I mean, $2 million, $2 million.
Sure. Well, I know I'm with him. Yeah, I think that's kind of a part of it also. I feel like the idea of not showing you're not really getting. You're sad about when. I imagine you're still sad about it if you like his character, but like it doesn't hit you as hard as if you were going to see it, and I think that's the point. At least how I look at it. All right, the next up we got who do we? Well, this one's kind of like last year's, kind of very similar to this year. Who do we think should have won Best Picture? Did they get it right? This is a little different than what we think our favorite movie is. But yeah, I mean, I think it's probably on the same page if I had to guess. And this is not just because I love this movie. I just generally just think it's better than the rest of the movies. I will say I think Atonement in other years would have had a shot.
100%.
I think that movie is great. Yeah,
So many different themes, so many different topics, even though it's a period piece.
yeah. Even there will be blood. I think. I love Michael Clean, but I can understand why these guys don't think it should be nominated. It's just a movie that I really enjoy.
That is kind of crazy though. Like,
And Juno,
Yeah, I mean, I like Juno a lot. I think it's better than Michael Clayton. Personally, I enjoy it more than like Clayton. I don't know that necessarily not like neither of them should have been nominated. I think there's other movies that were more deserving.
which we'll get to in a few. But no,
Okay.
well, I'm just saying we'll get
Is
to
it what we're talking about right now?
No, we're talking about what we thought was going to picture.
Oh, that's shot on Best Picture in the country one.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what won.
See,
I mean, like I said,
this is I mean, as far as just like strip away a little bit of what is your favorite.
Right. Yeah, it still should have won.
I'm glad to know they're very much.
Yeah.
So I really have no problem with it at all.
Because the thing that this movie does great is this movie will be remembered forever, which I do think should be. I know it's hard to tell in that moment, but like that to me, if we're looking back and we're like, and we could, go back and change it if we wanted to, I wouldn't change that because this movie is more remembered than any of those other movies
Yeah.
by
I agree.
a wide margin. I mean, what would you say the second one? Like, remember what? Probably Early Blood. Oh, Juno. Probably.
I would say Juno just in the culture now, like how
Yeah.
I think, like for example, like what I use Letterboxd now a lot, and I think that like a lot of people love Juno. Like people like watch Juno now and say this is amazing. I think honestly, it might be. I think it's above a 4 overall. Like I think I think it's the second or third highest rated out of like this class of movies. I think it's. I'm pretty sure it was still No Country for Old Men, and then Early Blood, Atonement, and then Juno, and then Michael Clayton's down in the who's pointing it down to the basement. But even like looking at the stats for Letterboxd, there's a lot of 5-star reviews. I just think Juno resonates a lot more with like
Yeah.
with like the younger generation, like we're not like most.
I just like, if we're talking about coming of age films, it's just not one I'm going back to ever. I mean, I honestly don't think I would ever rewatch Juno, and I own the movie. I don't hate the movie. I just don't like. Am I going just for Ellie Page? I mean, that'd be the only reason, really. I mean,
I would go to the
yeah, and it has good messages and stuff, but it's just like if I'm putting on coming of age, I'm going to Superbad, which is the same era, totally different movie, but way better in my opinion. But yeah, that's a different discussion. But we're all going to country as far as this is the second one in a row. Both of us said $1 Million Baby should have won it. Then eventually that will change because there's some, I don't want to say names, but Crash. There's some out there that I know historically or I've heard that shouldn't have won. And I'm interested to see. Maybe that would be mine. I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, next we're going to pick some movies that we thought should have been at least, at the very least, nominated.
So one movie that I really enjoyed from the year 2007 that should have been nominated, I think over like with Michael Clayton and Juno, I think we can all agree that Atonement, Early Blood, and No Country for Old Men they 100% should have been nominated.
From the Oscar, not from like our own selfish.
Like from we think they should have been nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah, okay.
Like for me, I'm there's like two those spots and what I think should have been nominated. The first, one that I love, Eastern Promises. It's directed by David Cronenberg. It stars Naomi Watts and Viggo Mortensen. I just think, that movie it's a little action. It's a lot of drama. I think that it does a really good job of tackling like big, like very controversial subject matter. Again, it's about drugs. It's about rape. It's about prostitution. And I think it's similar to. Not necessarily similar to Juno, but it talks about very controversial subject matter. I think in a very dramatic way. What? Yeah. But that was one of my favorites. I think it was very well directed, Viggo Mortensen's amazing. I definitely think his best actor nomination is definitely valid. He shouldn't. I mean, he's not going to win over these other people, but I definitely think he should have been nominated. So that's one of mine. Jamie, do you have
Yeah,
one?
I'll just say I have seen the Promises, Alex, and I am not a huge fan of that movie. That movie's pretty boring for me personally, but I'm also I don't know. I'm interested to dive into more David Cronenberg 'cause I just feel like things I've seen have not a lot of. But
Does he do?
did he do a History of Violence?
Yes.
I like that, which has Viggo Mortensen, but I wouldn't say
He did The Fly. And
yeah, I knew that.
I wouldn't think what else. Scanners.
I
Kind of was older.
yeah, I haven't seen it. I haven't find so long.
Oh yeah, he did a Naked Lunch. If you've ever seen that. History of Violence. A Dangerous Method.
Yeah, a lot of it.
I haven't seen much for like the last like 20 years.
I know. I saw what's the movie his son did. And well, that movie's really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, one of
Crash also.
different Crash.
Yeah,
that's not that Crash. So I'm not gonna say the one that Trevor wants to say, even though I also love that movie.
I also agree.
Which we'll get to in a moment. But mine, I don't even know if I would say it should be nominated, but I just thought I'd throw it out there because I thought at least I mean I personally would have it above it Juno, and that's really Scott's American Gangster. I First of all, great performances across the board. Denzel is so I don't even he was nominated, right? No, he definitely wasn't. That's crazy to me. He was so good in that movie. As everybody knows, though, or as anybody will find out, I am a huge Denzel fan, so I'm praising him is easy. But yeah, and then Russell Crowe's great in that movie. It's like listen, I think also Josh Brolin's in that movie. Am I misplacing him? Yeah, he plays like a shitty cop, Josh Brolin. Yeah, he is. Okay. And it has it's a lot of impactful scenes. The style is awesome. I really like Ridley Scott. Some of my favorite movies are directed by Ridley Scott. Blade Runner, Gladiator, Prometheus, which I think is one of the better alien movies, and many other stuff. I also love Tony Scott as well. But Tony Scott for a while directed a couple of Denzel movies, and then eventually Denzel would be in this Ridley Scott film. I don't necessarily think it's like a great film, so I like it not being nominated doesn't hurt me as much as the one that Trevor's going to talk about. But I do think it has a lot of style. The costumes are really cool. Like I don't know, did it get nominated for anything? American Gangster.
I think it did.
Probably for costumes or something, I would think.
Costumes.
Denzel not getting nominated is wild.
Isn't it like almost 3 hours?
It's a
It's a
long
long
one.
Like 2 hours 30 something. I mean, it's basically the same amount of time as There'll Be Blood.
No, it's 3 hours. It's 2 hours and 56 minutes. It's a long one. It's good though. I reckon. Trevor,
I also recommend Trevor.
haven't you seen it? Alex? Oh yeah, you haven't seen any Ridley Scott movies.
I have not seen that movie. I've seen Alien though. That's it.
Did you like Alien?
You haven't seen Gladiator? No, I've seen Gladiator.
Did you like Alien?
Yeah, I think Alien's very good. It got nominated for Oscars.
What?
Ruby D got for Best Supporting nominated
Oh yeah.
and Art Direction.
Okay. All right, Trevor.
Well, my pick, it doesn't no surprise to anybody at this table. I'm gonna go with Zodiac.
Obviously.
Arguably, I think the Adventures of Steps 4. If you like true crime or anything like that, this is right up your alley. Not only is it super super chilling, and like the depiction of the Zodiac killer and like some of the scenes in it, especially by the lake again I'm talking about, the extremely uncomfortable and hard to watch. Um,
The scene where he has them tied up. Yeah,
yeah,
this is gonna Alex is gonna make fun of me about that. That scene is awesome
no,
for how epic it is.
no, it is.
He understands
Why would I
me
make fun of you?
because because of the whole training day thing or something funny in this. You know, because this is serious.
No, I just like to say because I just like making fun of you.
Okay.
I don't actually know if any does actually mean anything today.
What's crazy, and let you go back to is the fact that David Fincher, he has never won for best director.
Has he been nominated? Oh yeah, for Benjamin Button. Wasn't Benjamin Button nominated or not?
Yeah, he got nominated 3 times for Benjamin Button, Social Network, and Mank.
Gotcha.
Why the hell wasn't he nominated for Gone Girl?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Gone Girl 7. Like, what are we doing?
But back to it though, I feel like performances, man. I feel like Jake Gyllenhaal, Robert Downey Jr., Mark Ruffalo, they
Yeah, some hard hitting performances in there.
absolutely.
The one that again, the second one I would say legitimately. I had Zodiac as well. I absolutely a super fan. I don't know if I would necessarily. It would be hard to.
I mean, I'm okay with it.
I could put it. I definitely would. If I had a non-serious movie to replace who I would put it in after like for Juno, I would sub it in for Juno personally. I agree. I think it's much more relevant now. Not necessarily relevant, but like has a lot more staying power and like everyone knows True Bad, everyone loves True Bad for the most part. But a movie that I think seriously.
But I got laughed at it for Mean Girls. This was same fucking.
I think True Bad is so much better than
No,
Girls.
no, but honestly, the same reason. So, like you're saying, the lasting power. Mean Girls has a lot of people still talk about fucking Mean Girls. And I do feel like I prefer Superman also, but Mean Girls is like considered one of the best comedies of that era.
Anyways, so I don't.
Well, we made the same point, so I'm just ignoring you.
I would nominate. I would want to see 3 Ted to Yuma get a nomination, directed by James Mangold, Christian Bale, Russell Crowe. It's a great movie, great cinematography, great sound. I think James Mangold does. I've only seen a couple of James Mangold movies. I think the directing of this movie is what sets it apart from me from other like similar like modern westerns, so to speak, from the last like 20 years. I surprised they didn't get nominated honestly for this movie. Really, they only had 2 nominations, it was just for original score and sound mixing. I just think that acting in this movie is great. I just think the last like post 2000, it's really hard to find a good quality western that you want to come back to. And I think this is one that's stood out for me when I think of the last 2 decades.
How did he get off of there?
He forgot his train of thought.
Well, I never even talked about
What do you like? Have you seen Through Ted to
it.
Yuma?
I have not.
Okay. Well, you should watch it. It's very good.
I would want to.
But I'll quickly touch on Zodiac.
Hey, Jimmy, why don't you quickly touch on Zodiac?
Zodiac's one of my favorite movies, so I'm right there with Trevor. It's in my top 3 Fincher. It kind of battles with. It's like there's a 4-way battle. Fincher is so fucking good. Between Seven, Zodiac, Gone Girl, and The Social Network, those movies. The fact that that guy has all 4 of those movies is crazy. And yet he's number 1 best director. I know. Did he even has any of his movies even won Best Picture?
I think he's definitely worthy of it.
Yeah, I think any of those movies that I just think were worthy of it. I mean, I can understand maybe West Hutton wasn't nominated, but I do think it should have been. I don't know that you though, to be fair. But anyways, Zodiac, all-time great performances. None of those guys are nominated.
That is
Yeah.
true.
I just think 2007 was just a hell of a year for movies. I think
But
there's so many good performances. Like even the ones that you talked about, Russell Crowe to get nominated for either American Gangster or Return to Human. They're great in most of those movies. Like, I think that they were just spoiled. Like,
True.
if there was a year that would be 10 Best Picture nominations, I feel like it could have been this year. Like, if they would have done it earlier with this movie, like, and they all would have been solid movies, I think.
And to think that like you have to go up against these people, like you have to go up against your Daniel Day-Lewis's or your Javier Bardem's for like it's really not even close.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is like the last year like major studio that's really working control of HUD. Like you see like as we've gone through the last like 10 years, there's been a lot more international films, indie films that have been nominated. I know this one
Yeah.
indie film with, A24 and like I think that time where major big blockbuster movies and big production companies has kind of fallen to the wayside a little bit over the last 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm not anything to add to that. But,
There's a little sidetrack.
anyways, yeah, Zodiac's great. We'll talk about that another time. But my last one, I'm not really going to talk about it too much. I just want to throw it out there. Gone Baby Gone is another one I feel like people talk about a lot. Ben Affleck's directorial debut. Casey Affleck's very good in it. Really good performances across the board. Not my favorite Ben Affleck movie. That's obviously a down. But obviously, Gone Baby Gone is very good. So I could that one I'm honestly kind of surprised. I think it's because it's his first movie. I feel like sometimes they like kill people for certain stuff that just doesn't make sense to me. But yeah. Anyways, all right. The final thing, unless you got any more movies.
Yeah, it was on and then
Okay. The final thing we got here, I pulled it up so I could tell these guys. So we have the tier ranking thing. Me and Alex did this for our first one. We have five potential spots we could put this in. So we have good best picture year. We have good, great. We have solid but will be forgotten. We have carried. And we have bad selection. Obviously, the one we did before was that was the 2005 Oscars, 04 movies.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then that year, we put as carried because The $1 Million Baby was easily the best movie. And now we have the 2008 Oscars, 2007 movies. Where are y'all leaning?
I mean, go, dude. I mean,
It's either between that or Good Eye.
it's gotta be
Good.
It's gotta be good. I mean, you got three amazing movies that I feel like could have won and would have won other years.
Yeah. Because I was like with Trevor, I was trying to think, could it be great? But like, I mean, you got to get a better year. I mean, we obviously have many more years to do go, but it's hard to argue that there's many years that are better than this one. I guess for a lot of people, it depends on how you feel. Because I feel like when I hear about this, you got to hear about No Country for Old Men. There will be blood. For me, I feel like it would depend on how people generally feel about Attendant. I think Attendant is right up there with those three movies. But if you don't think that, I can see why you would not say this is a good year. But I'm with Goodman. If y'all are cool one, I mean, obviously I would do this. Yeah.
I mean, it was only between those two. I feel as though if more than half of your movies, like he said, are capable of winning any other year, that speaks for itself, honestly.
Yeah, and I honestly like all 4 to 5. So I definitely, and Judith's a good movie. Yeah. Anyways, yes, so that has been the 2008 Oscars. Another fun one in the books. Definitely had more fun with this one. I think these guys would agree.
Yeah.
I mean, the other year was cool. I mean, it's a good one to start with, but yeah, way too many 5.
I was like, all right, come on, please.
And before I sign off, I'm going to have Alex present the next one because he picked the year.
I guess the next one we're going to do is the 1976 Oscars, which is 1975 movies. So we got One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Nashville, Dog Day Afternoon, Jaws, and Barry Lyndon, which I know these guys are looking forward to.
But I've never seen Barry Lyndon. Have you ever seen Nashville? I've never seen one for the Coopers Nest. What was the other name?
Joel, Top Afternoon.
I have not never seen Dog Day Afternoon. So this one is different. I feel like some of the other movies that I've seen more than one.
Right.
I've only seen Jaws,
Correct.
obviously.
That's I'm the same, but I've heard. I mean, they're very highly regarded. I feel like among the film community, like a lot of people say this. Like a lot of them are, most of them are like 4.5 or 5 out of 5 movies. So I'm excited to kind of expand a little bit.
Yeah, I'm excited to give you a shot.
I'm excited to expand.
I was like, oh, watch. Yeah, I am excited about everything because I'm not seeing enough Stanley Kubrick. I mean, I've seen Eyes Wide Shut and Shining, but outside, I don't think I've seen any other Stanley Kubrick films. I know Barry Lyndon's up there. I still need to see the Space Odyssey, but Nashville is probably the only one on that list that I'm not like super excited for. But we'll see. It might end up being, might surprise me. Might be my favorite.
Yeah.
We'll
We'll
see.
see.
But as always, guys, that was a lot of fun. Thank you guys for coming on as usual. Um,
Let us know what year we should do next. If you guys want to
Yes.
see a year, whether it's a bad year or a good year, we're looking to
Yeah.
review.
yeah, put them down like comments. Did you agree to the list? Who's the list did you like the most? Actually, real quickly, we need to do this because we're morons. My number 5 is Juno. My number 4 is There Will Be Blood. My number 3 is Atonement. My number 2 is Michael Clayton. My number 1 is No Country for Old Men.
I'm gonna go in the right order, which is 1 is No Country for Old Men. 2 is There Will Be Blood. And I had Atonement at 3. I had Juno at 4. Michael Clayton 5.
I had I had There Will Be Blood at 1, No Country at 2, Atonement at 3, Michael Clayton at 4, and Juno at 5.
Yep. All right, guys, that was fun. And like Alex was saying, make sure you put your list down in the comment section. Give us some years so we don't keep selecting them, obviously. Because, like, I don't care if you give us a shitty year. I mean, maybe I care a little bit because we gotta watch them, but I mean, we prefer to stay away from some of the newer ones that introduce 10 movies. I mean, we'll do it, but it's gonna take us a lot longer, obviously. I mean, the good thing about some of the newer ones is we've seen a bunch of different movies, which is beneficial. But yeah, I mean, we'll do any decade. I mean, I'd probably prefer 60s and on, but if you want to throw a 40s one to us, I guess it is.
Let's do it.
Someone's definitely like 1942. Let's do it. I don't even know what came out in 1942. But anyways, guys. Thank you. And as always, I'll see you next time.